Hey, welcome to an important and vital episode as it relates to how we do business in the future. It's about access to data that will be necessary to fix our clients' vehicles. There is some outstanding money being put up against this pro-consumer initiative in Massachusetts. Now, the intention of this episode is to serve up awareness to you and the impact that a no vote from Massachusetts voters will mean to automotive repair going forward. Hey, Carm Capriato here, the Aftermarket Podcast guy, with a very informative episode on vehicle data. Now, by 2022, 87% of new vehicles will be transmitting telematic data wirelessly, but who owns the data? Well, you know, the car manufacturer does. And without access to data, the independent service professional will not be able to get specific diagnostic data. They'll hold all the cards and charge handsomely for it. My guests are advocates of this Massachusetts Right to Repair Vehicle Data Access Requirement Initiative of 2020. Bill Hanvey, President and CEO of the Auto Care Association, along with Aaron Lowe, Senior Vice President, Regulatory and Government Affairs at Auto Care, give you the story. Hey, there's two great partners that bring you this new episode today, Apex and Shopware. Hey, did you know that virtual Apex experience is happening November 3rd through the 5th? And by the way, it's free, and it includes technical and management training for shop owners, technicians, and service advisors. You'll also have a chance to get product and equipment demos and one-on-one meetings with suppliers. Now, I've interviewed many of the trainers that are part of Virtual Apex. It's an A-list. Don't miss it. Make a smart move. Register today at aapexshow.com/register. Hey, how is your shop management system doing for you? Well, at Shopware, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Shopware's shop management system allows customers to review, approve, and pay 1, 2, 3 for repairs, all in one place. Keep your staff and your customers safe while maintaining profits and keeping your customers happy. Learn more at getshopware.com/carm. Hey, no matter what state you're in, this is a must listen. It's about the proposed law in Massachusetts that would update the 2013 law by mandating that OEMs install a standardized open data platform beginning with model year 2022.
To participate in the American process, it is time to support your association and your industry. So we need everybody's help on this.
Hey, more to come with this required listening. Now, I've got a survey up at remarkableresults.biz/survey, very short, and I welcome your input. By the way, I'm so happy with the number of surveys that I'm getting, and I'm learning a lot. Thank you. It will only take about 4 minutes of your time to help me discover your likes and needs as we continue to drive the podcasting needs of the aftermarket. Hey, thanks. Be part of it. Are you watching the new show, aftermarketweekly.com? Are you? Well, it's a live show every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Watch it live on the website or on social media sites. Every episode is archived on the website at aftermarketweekly.com. Besides great short topics and a co-host, you'll get a live shop tour. What a bonus. We've been to shops all over North America, and you may just take a great idea from one of them. How about that? AftermarketWeekly.com. Hey, we're here to make your learning a bit more enjoyable and easy on the ear. So proud to be able to serve up these informative and transformational podcasts to you each and every week. Hey, a warm welcome to Bill Hanvey, President and CEO of the Auto Care Association. Hello, Bill.
Hi, Carm. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you always saying yes to any time I ask you to come on. Appreciate that. And I think for the first time ever, Aaron Lowe is with us, Senior Vice President, Regulatory and Government Affairs at the Auto Care Association. Hello, Aaron.
Hello. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm glad you're here. Really important topic. You know, in Massachusetts, they've got this big fight going on with access to data. And Bill, Aaron, I know you guys are on the front line of this. We need to talk about the kind of money that is in opposition of getting this passed with a yes vote. And Mass has really been the leader way back in the day when we were looking for right to repair. So, Bill, thanks for coming on short notice. We need to rally the industry. Maybe this is an awareness podcast, but frankly, this issue affects every one of us.
It does, Carm. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. With episodes such as this today, and other initiatives that we have taking place. But it's very throughout the course of this, and I'm going to let Aaron talk about the specifics of the legislation itself. But this is something that people might say, well, the Auto Care Association's got it. I'm not going to have to worry about it for another 10 or 15 years. But this is something that will directly affect our industry for generations to come if we don't get this right. And if you don't think that the automakers aren't taking this seriously, their $25 million to support the initiative should be indicative to our industry about how intent the car makers are in terms of monopolizing that vehicle data. And if that doesn't outrage this entire industry, then nothing else should.
Well, the other thing that's outraging me is the commercials that they're putting on up in Massachusetts, and we should talk about that because they seem like nothing but a bunch of lies. Mm-hmm. And Bill, I looked it up. Top donors against this proposition, just to the tune of 5 million General Motors, 4 million Toyota, 4 million Ford, American Honda, 2 million Nissan, 2 million. And those are round numbers. Mm-hmm. Amazing money that's getting stacked up against this.
It's incredible, but it again goes to the point where how critical this is for our industry. If this didn't really matter, then you wouldn't see the OEMs pouring the amount of money into this campaign that they are today. So it goes to show you how intent they are to monopolize the data, to create a long-term business model for their own dealerships, which is not sustainable, by the way, being that the aftermarket does 70% of the repairs. So it's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of confusion and monopolization that they're going to bring to the marketplace if indeed they are successful, which they won't be. But it just goes to show you how serious they are about the monopolization of vehicle data.
Aaron, let's bring you in. What's going on from your perspective?
The Massachusetts ballot question is absolutely critical. I mean, people on Capitol Hill are watching what happens in the state. Mm-hmm. So the stakes are high. And I think the manufacturers recognize the fact that, they want to be the gatekeeper. They want to be, if they hold all the data, if they control it, they will be able to determine who's going to repair today's and tomorrow's cars. And I think that's the bottom line here is they know whoever has the data, the repair data, is going to be the deciding factor in where cars get repaired in the future. So, the stakes are high, and I think that's why they're spending the money they are. And I know that when we go to Washington, we go to Capitol Hill, or at least virtually these days, we're hearing from legislators and staff that they're watching what happens in Massachusetts and deciding what future national policy is going to be like. So the stakes are high for our industry. The stakes are high for the vehicle manufacturers, and that's why this has become such a major issue. It's unfortunate the manufacturers have chosen to go down a very dark road in Massachusetts. They trying to scare car owners. They're trying to show them that, if this wins, then people are going to be stalking women in parking lots. The bill is very, very well crafted. It talks about mechanical data. It's not going to allow people to suddenly be stalked. I think hopefully the people in Massachusetts will see through what the car companies are doing. And so far, the support we're from voters in Massachusetts has been very reassuring, but we're only at the beginning here. We have a ways to go before Election Day.
I find it fascinating when you poke holes at their campaign, which is so easy to do, right, guys? Who says that someone inside of one of the companies that holds the data couldn't be a stalker? It is just crazy to think that that's the way they're fighting this.
It's astounding. And they're implicating their own dealerships in that type of messaging as well, which is hard to believe. But, they're playing upon fear because they don't have a good fundamental foundation for why they should not allow access to mechanical data other than the monopolization. There's just no credible foundation for this.
You know, Bill, I've always been a believer in capitalism. I always believed that nature can find a way to accomplish, to get things to go around stuff, to create, to invent.
Sure.
And I keep thinking that if we ever lost that access, we would be okay, but we'd be paying through our nose, and so would the consumer for it. I almost say it's not only trying to bring the cars back inside the dealership bays, it's so they could charge oodles of money so that we could fix their cars.
Yep, and I'll let Aaron speak to that. It's called the extended vehicle, where you access data only through the OEM server. So, Aaron, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's in Europe, the manufacturers are pressing very hard for the European authority to adopt a standard where all the data goes to the car company cloud. And then if an independent shop wants access to it, you have to go to their cloud under their terms and be able to download the data. And we're sure that's where the manufacturers would like to go in the United States too, if they're successful in Europe and able to defeat the ballot question. If the manufacturers determine the terms of the data, the independent part of the industry is dead. And I think even the dealers are going to suffer, because if you're a dealer and the car company holds all the cards, they can determine who's going to stay in business and who's not going to stay in business. So really, this is a fight for consumers to be determining who are going to be the winners, losers, and not the manufacturers. Mm-hmm. But, they're already showing in Europe what they want to do, and I think they're going to try the same business model in the United States if they're allowed to.
You know, I never thought of that from that action, Bill. One moment is that they can control who sells their cars and who doesn't by controlling the data that they give.
Absolutely. And the ironic part too, Carm, is that the car makers have publicly said that their future business models rely upon the sale of personal data. And I find it completely ironic that they are criticizing the aftermarket for an accusation that's not true about accessing personal data, yet their business model is built upon selling that personal data. It's absolutely outlandish.
This is so anti-consumer. Mm-hmm. You know, it's crazy. You know, Bill, the 70% goes to the aftermarket is a number we've known for a long time. I think it's held pretty steady. It may have grown a little bit, but it's always around there. They couldn't put on enough bays to satisfy the driving public.
Could you imagine if you're a consumer and you don't have, and not only from a logistical standpoint, but just think about the price, about 30% higher at the dealership. Think about if you're in a rural environment and you have to drive 60, 70 miles to a dealership to get your car repaired. The implications for the consumer on this is far, and it's financial, it's logistical, and it just doesn't make sense.
Hey, Carm here, and coming up, learn why now is not the time to sit on the sidelines to advocate for data access. Hey, Carm here. Now, did you know that the virtual Apex experience going on November 3rd through the 5th, 2020 is free? Well, that's right. The technical and management training that you typically pay hundreds of dollars for to attend is free. Now, even better, your entire crew can take part in the training, and it's still free. Training? Well, it's geared toward shop owners, technicians, and service advisors, and it's for all levels, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And that's only part of the virtual Apex experience. You'll also be able to get additional training from exhibitors including Drive, Garage Gurus, Autel, Bolt-On Technology, Bosch, Hunter, Kukui, and Napa Auto Care, and see a bunch of 20 to 30-minute product and equipment demos inside of Joe's Garage. And when it's time to talk products and conduct business, you can meet one-on-one with exhibitors, virtually, of course. Even though the virtual Apex experience is free, you'll still have to register. To get started, go to aapexshow.com/register. Well, I hope to bump into you at Virtual Apex. Hey, today's pandemic is causing so much stress and uncertainty for everyone right now. especially shop owners. Now, how do I make sure that my staff and my customers stay protected while still moving cars through the bays? Contactless service is our new normal, and having a shop management system that not only supports this, but actually helps your business thrive through it all is key. Shopware's digital workflow with Remote Pay will provide that solution for you. Amy Matnett from Auto Craftsman recently commented on social media, and I quote, "I can't even express how grateful I am that I jumped on board with Shopware on January 1st. Would have never guessed that I would be the only one writing service at my shop, as I haven't worked in the shop for the last 15 years. But she goes on and says, "I'm running my shop nonstop every day with Shopware to help me not only get the job done easier and faster, but am totally wowing my customers." End quote. Hey, if you want to wow your customers too, request a demo at getshopware.com. This is a crazy off-the-wall thought, but I'm from Buffalo. Local independent group is being romanced by a dealership to provide free training, virtual free training. You get together, we'll provide the virtual trainer. And you pick the topic. Here's 10 topics to pick. The car dealer offering independence training. God, that goes against everything that they seem to be standing for.
Well, and Carm, in the field, the car dealerships and the independent aftermarket have a very symbiotic relationship. Yeah. There is a lot of buy-sell that occurs between the channels, and that's something that we encourage. And if you ask your local jobber, I sell to the dealership and I buy from the dealership, and this would put an end to that, which is. We'll find a way.
So what's next? Your Car, Your Data, you and I did a great episode. It was episode 440 on this great article you wrote a long time ago. Did the Wall Street Journal pick that up, I think?
The Journal and the Times.
And the Times.
And Reader's Digest, I might add, too.
Really? Wow. I mean, when you go out on the circuit, do you sign a lot of books and stuff?
Just the Reader's Digest. No worries.
What was it about your car knows if you gained any weight? I mean, that's correct, yeah. To the point, that's the data that is being collected by our vehicles. We asked the industry to sign a petition at yourcaryourdata.org. And that, again, I think, as you told me, Bill, that's more of a federal or a U.S.-based initiative.
Yes. The Your Car, Your Data is really, as I said, it's to grow awareness of the data issue at the consumer and at the industry level. And we do also have an initiative taking place right now at the federal level that I think Aaron would be well suited to speak to.
We're already looking toward next year. Congress is right now in there going toward the election. I think we're not going to see a lot of legislation, but we're starting to work with the group with AASA and hopefully others to try to build a legislative solution both on the data access issue, but also on the wider range of competitive issues that are currently facing the aftermarket, whether it's embedded software and parts or some of the commercial actions that the manufacturer taken to try to win over more of the aftermarket. So we're looking at more competitive issues on a broader scale, but we're looking at it as a national effort after the election and next year. And hopefully we have the wind in our sails coming out of Massachusetts, will build momentum to move us toward a national effort to try to really take on the anti-competitive effort of the manufacturers. So we're really excited about it on a national basis. But we feel like we have to win in Massachusetts, and hopefully whatever happens there will build on that momentum to go on a national scale.
As a side note, Aaron, and this may not have anything to do with this show, but it seems like every state has a different law about autonomous vehicles, driverless cars and stuff. And, you travel from one state to another and the car has to know that there's different laws. Are you guys thinking about something on a national basis there too?
Well, there has been attempts on the national basis to regulate autonomous vehicles. There was an attempt a couple of years ago, and I think in the election, I think there'll be another attempt at it this year. I think everybody wants a national bill to deal with autonomous vehicles, just because every state doing it is going to make it really difficult for cars to be sold and serviced nationwide. So, yeah, I think we're going to see a national attempt to address some of those issues, but it's still a new technology, and they're still working through a lot of the scenarios and how that's going to work out in Congress. So that's something we're looking at, but this would be part of that whole effort as well.
Yeah, and Carm, you bring up a good point too in terms of the cars being able to communicate with one another, and in order for us to be able to have the right to repair initiative be successful, we need to be able to access that data securely, and we obviously are good stewards of data. And we know how important it is that things are cyber secure. So one of the elements of the bill in Massachusetts is that it would be a standardization of that language in terms of the data. And that's an important part for us to communicate to not only to the consumer, but to our industry, is that when the car maker says, well, they can't be secure, well, we have a solution. In terms of being able to access that data that's based on standards that, in fact, some of the car makers are already utilizing in some of their makes and models. So we have a means to be able to access that data securely, which includes the standardization of the language, enabling autonomous.
Got it. Guys, I just want to tell the audience, so okay, this was great, Carm. Thanks for the information. But I'm out here in Maryland, and let me just tell everyone that during the 2019-2020 legislative session, right to repair laws have been introduced in 17 states, including Mass, Minnesota, Vermont, New York, Washington, Georgia, Hawaii, Oklahoma, Alabama, Maine, Missouri, Colorado, Maryland, New Hampshire, California, Idaho, and New Jersey. As of July 2020, Mass was the single state that adopted a right to repair law. My God, if that thing goes no, it's going to affect all these other states and or your effort in Washington, Aaron. And when I saw the gap between 25 million and I think 9, they could run an ad 24 hours a day for the week before the election and not run out of money.
And they have been.
Yeah. They are inundating the airwaves in Massachusetts. I mean, they have to spend a lot of money because they have a terrible message. We do have a really good message, but we are having to spend a lot of money to try to get it out there because we can't get out shouted. But because our message is so, people really understand it. They ask their local, technician. They've been working with them for years. They go there for price, convenience. They don't want those people to go away. So I think, they see the value in having an independent aftermarket. Massachusetts voters have been strong supporters. They passed the last right to repair measure back in 2012 by an 86 to 14% margin. I mean, that's enormous. Now, we don't think we're going to get that kind of margin this time because it's so controversial and there's car companies spending so much money. But I think it indicates to you, the value our industry has with consumers. And I think everybody should be really proud of what our industry has done and what it provides consumers. But we have to fight that because we do have a very well-funded foe who's looking to grab more and more of the control of that market. And I think that's both a short-range and a long-range threat that we're going to face. And if we win here, it's going to have huge implications, both short and long term.
When we win here.
Sorry.
There you go.
Bill, Aaron, when you sit in your war room over this initiative and you think about the cynical voter, they don't know who to believe, what to believe. I mean, not only on a national political scale, but obviously locally. And they, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know who to believe. Well, their side makes a lot of sense. I don't know who to believe. Do you reshape the message so that you can grab more of the cynical voter?
You know what, Carm? We have been very consistent with our messaging, and that has been I think, a plus about our campaign. We've kept it very simple, focusing on consumer choice. We've kept it out of the weeds and the mud like the OEMs have done. And I think that speaks to our integrity, and it speaks to our message. And we feel that the message of consumer choice resonates with the voter of Massachusetts and the consumer in the United States, period. And we will continue to take the high road on this. And I think that our message certainly is more compelling. They have to do more damage than we do. And, I think that our message is spot on in terms of what we need to do.
What else do we need to know for the listener? Is there anything we can do? How do we support this in any other way? Are there any panels to be on? I know you've got a lot of great people up in Massachusetts that are really the point of the plow. Is there anything the rest of us can do?
Well, one thing that is really helpful, if anybody has locations in Massachusetts or people that they've worked with up there, get the message to them that they need to vote yes on question 1, but also pass it on to their customers to vote yes on question 1. So many people have questions to the state. That would be really helpful, is to get the message to their people in Massachusetts to vote yes on this question. Stay close in touch with what's going on and follow this, because I think, we're all going to be facing this issue after the election one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Any marketing materials that the people in Massachusetts need to have?
Yeah, we have great material. If anybody wants to email me, I can get the material to them, no problem. There's massrighttorepair.org, where you can go right online and get the most up-to-date information on what's happening there. But if they want to email me, I can get any material they want to.
All right, you're willing to give up that email, huh?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Oh, heck yeah.
Everybody
Mine
already
too.
has it.
Right?
Then spill it, my friend.
Right. Well, the car makers certainly have it.
So it's aaron.lowe@autocare.org.
Oh, that's simple enough. Two A's, A-A-R-O-N.
Two A's, AARON.LOWE@autocare.org.
All right. Hey, Bill, who on the side of this great aftermarket of ours is helping push this?
The Coalition for Auto Repair Equality, or CARE, that includes all the major retailers, have been involved with us both financially and from the strategy point from the beginning, and that include AutoZone, O'Reilly, Napa, Advance, CarQuest, and they have been significantly involved from the beginning. AWDA has been a significant supporter. LKQ Industries has been a significant supporter of this initiative. And the entire industry as a whole supports it, but those particular companies. Aaron, did I miss anybody without being? I don't want to slight anybody.
No, I think you've hit the major contributors.
Yeah. So it's the who's who of the aftermarket. And let me ask another question. How about the manufacturers? Have they stepped up?
Yes, and they certainly have, and that's being, their support typically comes through CARE, the Coalition through Auto Repair Equality. They have a good, conduit to the supplier community and have been communicating to them. And obviously, the suppliers are our members, and we've had a direct line with the supplier community, and they've been very supportive as well.
I also want to point out that the repair shops in the state all have signs in front of their businesses. There are thousands of repair shops that have, really gotten the message to their customers, putting signs out, putting point of purchase displays, putting stuff on their invoices. I mean, it's been a local effort too. I don't want to slight the thousands of shops in Massachusetts that have really been part of this effort and an important part of the support we get.
And how has that grassroots effort really happened, Aaron? I mean, how did you mobilize that?
Well, a lot of them came through the last direct repair effort. They were very proud of the success they had in 2012. And when we started talking about doing this in Massachusetts and trying to keep up with technology, they were all in, and they really have come through in support of it. And you watch the advertising and the people that are giving their time and going on TV to support it. It's just really exciting to see an industry really come together and look at look at something that they know is going to preserve their future, and that we have to win.
Well, and even from the grassroots perspective, Carm, the amount of press that Question One is generating within Massachusetts itself is absolutely mind-blowing. Television news stations, editorials. My daughter and her family live in Massachusetts, and they follow and my daughter follows the community boards, and it gets a lot of attention. And so that's another way that we're working it in terms of additional support within the state.
And the editorials are on this side, the yes side.
Absolutely, for the most part, and the editorials and the op-eds are we support consumer choice. If you live in Massachusetts, get out and vote. If you have anything that you know about Massachusetts, mobilize that. This is not a time to sit on the sidelines. This is a time to participate in the American process. It is time to support your association and your industry. So we need everybody's help on this.
Thank you so much. Wonderful message. Aaron, Bill, thank you so much for the information and the passion as you lead the way to get this prop in Massachusetts to a yes vote. Bill Hanvey, President and CEO of the Auto Care Association, and Aaron Lowe, Senior Vice President, Regulatory and Government Affairs, Auto Care Association. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks, Carm. Go Bills.
Great. Thanks, Carm.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.